Let's get ready to rumble!
Hello, dog lovers. Good morning, good day, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to another live show on Saro dog training. Hopefully you're doing well and everything is going well. Today we're going to go straight to questionnaires and we get started on answering the questionnaires. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask your questions in the chat area. Hopefully you can see me and hear me well, and everything is going well. And let me just prepare everything that has to be done. All right, okay. So you're good to go there. All right, so I have a question for you before I start answering your questions. My question is, what video topics would you like me to make videos about? Please feel free to comment in the comment area or in the chat area. Let me know your feedback. I need some video ideas for the future videos. And speaking of future videos, I have a new video coming on Sunday, which is about the rest of the conversation that I had with Amy Lee from Go Groomer. We're going to dive in a little bit more in details about overall grooming your dog. If you have one of those dogs that needs grooming and you want to groom at home, that video would be the ideal content for you. For many people, yeah, it's going to be, even for beagles, yeah, even for beagles would be great. And also next week, I have 2 new videos coming out as well. And one of them is actually a day in the life of a dog trainer in a doggy daycare. So you're going to see a day of my life, how it goes. Hopefully you're going to enjoy it and get some benefit from it too. There are some tips as well, not only just sharing my day. But yeah, I just want to know what topics overall you'd like me to make videos about. If you have the time, if you're watching this when it's not live, please feel free to comment in the comment area. And if you're live at the moment and you have some ideas, let me know in the chat area, and that would be very helpful. Okay. Let me see. The other thing that I wanted to mention is make sure that you are also subscribe to the channel and hit the like button as well, and share this video if you could, so we can educate more dog lovers like you in all over the world. And also, if you want to become a channel member, you have the option of becoming a channel member. Now, if you don't know what that is basically you get perks, additional perks by becoming a member, and I create content especially for members only. All the details is in the membership area of the channel, and I'm going to show you that where that is. So if you go to my channel, you can click on the membership, and you're going to see all the details there. So you can become a member as well. So there we go. I think I mentioned everything. So again, once again, if you're new here, welcome to the channel. My name is Saro. I'm a dog trainer, also coach dog owners. And in this live video, I'm going to answer your dog related questions. And I'm going to start with Neil Mehta. Neil Mehta is very eager to get started with the live session. Thank you for being here. Gaming Spirit is saying hi. Thank you for being here. Avanish Sirvata is in the house. Rahul is in the house. I think it's Irana is in the house. Tanya is in the house. Catherine. No. Karthika is in the house. Abel, Neil, and Elizabeth Crosso is in the house. Niall is in the house. Very good. All right. So let's get started on the show. And I'm going to start with the first question from Gaming Spirit. By the way, if I have a moderator today, so there is a moderator who's going to moderate the chat area. So be aware of that. Okay, so Gaming Spirit is asking, should I neuter? I'm a first dog owner. Should I neuter my dog? Good question. In general, based on the latest studies and information that I have, is it's better overall not to spay or neuter your dog at all. That's the I would say that's the dream. If we could not neuter or spay our dogs, that would be the best. I know in some parts of the world you have to, it's the law that you have to neuter and spay your dog. But if there is the opportunity not to spay or neuter your dog, it's better not to. But the other problem is that we come across overpopulation of dogs, which causes dogs to mate, and therefore we have additional and unnecessary breeding going on. That's the problem. That would be the main problem of not neutering and spaying dogs. Now, by saying that, I don't mean that you should break the law and not be careful and not to do anything about it and just let your unspayed or unneutered dog to roam around. You have to be very careful about it. But from health wise point of view, it is much healthier if we don't spay and neuter dogs, because they need those organs to protect themselves from all things that happens in life, including the cancer. Now, spaying and neutering dogs has shown that dogs tend to get cancer if they are neutered, especially spayed and neutered, especially if they are spayed and neutered early in life. Unfortunately, most rescue organizations, they do neuter and spay dogs too early, which is not good. I think there is another option that you can do. It's called I'll do a video about it. Actually, I can't remember the word at the moment. But there is a way that you can spay or neuter the dog without removing the organs, and you're just can't remember the word. You're removing something that doesn't really affect the dog health wise and physically and emotionally. It doesn't bother the dog, but it's safe and it's done. If it's done properly, it's the wise form of spaying and neutering dogs, and that's what I'm gonna actually do with Annie if the time comes. I'm gonna talk to my vet to figure that out if you can have that option rather than spaying her, for example, or neutering dogs in future. Uh, Now, if you're going to spay and neuter, I suggest do it as late as possible. As late as possible. There are two, at least yeah, after 1 year, uh, or whenever you feel that your dog's behavior is being affected by not being spayed or neutered. What I mean by that, there are some dogs that when they are not spayed or neutered, they have a little bit of hormones that they really overrun their system and their body, and it affects their behavior. Um, what I mean by that is not, for example, if you have a female dog and your female comes into heat, it doesn't mean that you have to the dog during the heat. That's that. I mean, just because they go in heat doesn't mean that you have to spay the dog. What it means is that they have to go through the heat session, and they'll be done. During that time, they would have some behavioral issues that you have to consider that. But if it prolongs and stays for a long time, and the behavior is affecting your life and the dog's life, then it's a signal and it's a sign that you should be spaying or neutering that dog. But overall, you want to delay it as much as possible. Okay, hopefully that helps. I have a video actually about spaying and neutering on my channel, but I need to do an updated version, and I'm going to actually do one of those pretty soon. And Vanish is asking, you may remember me from previous videos where my dog ate a bone. He's fine now. We're so glad. I'm glad that nothing went wrong and everything is good to go. Now remember not to allow your beagle to eat cooked bones. Raw bones are okay, but don't, be careful. Do a lot of puppy or dog proofing in the house. And you had the following question: how do I stop him from eating food so quickly and pace himself down a bit? So I read this question ahead just before I went live, and I prepared what I need to show you. So there are two types: one free version, one paid version. The free version is basically you grab your dog's ball and you find a rock that is a little bit bigger than your dog's mouth, and you put it in the football, and you place the food around it. So therefore, they have to put my dog. Here's my beagle. So the dog has to. Can't put the whole muzzle in there, so it has a hard time grabbing the food. So it has to have it's going to have a hard time picking the food. So therefore, it's going to slow down the feeding. That's one way. That's the free version. You can just simply put a rock in the middle of your dog's food ball and solve the problem. But the other thing that you can do are these paid footballs that you can buy from wherever you do your shopping. But there are these balls that they have these grooves in them in different forms and shapes, where you put the food and these are called slow feed dog food bowls. Those are the things that you want to buy. Slow feed dog food bowls. That would be the other option. Okay. Great question. So Rahul is asking, you have said in your videos that beagles should be tied with the leash at home for the first year. Why is this? And what will the change be after that 1 year when I let her free at home? Good question. I do suggest to have the dog on a leash, or basically the idea is to have your dog under control, your puppy under control. There are several ways that you can do that. You can have a designated area that the puppy stays only, so it can be off leash. One of them is, putting a expand around an area and leave the puppy in there, or the puppy could be in a crate or attached to a leash wherever you are. The idea here is to have your beagle or your dog under control. That's all it means. And you don't want to have your puppy roaming around the house for free and doing whatever it wants and chew everything and destroy things and get into things that is not supposed to. For example, a Vanish's beagle got into raw cooked bones, to prevent the puppy from making mistakes and getting into things that is not supposed to, and be safer. It's safer if you have your puppy under control. Now, why do we say a year? Because not a year, not until the dog is a year old, but a year from the day that you get your dog. Now, if you get a 3 years old dog, for the first year until the dog is 4 years old, you should have the dog on leash, indoors and outdoors. Again, the reason is indoors there are dangerous stuff that the puppy or the dog can get into, and outdoors you don't want to off leash the dog. One of the biggest mistakes that I see most dog owners make is they off leash their dog or puppy too early. And when you do that, you're creating disaster to happen. Things can go very wrong, not only safety wise, but behaviorally. When you off leash a dog, what happens is the dog says, I'm on my own and I have to think and do things and make decisions on my own. But one thing that you have to understand is that dogs are very dependent on humans. There are certain dogs who are independent, certain breed of dogs that are independent, just like beagles. Beagles are very independent breed. They have been bred to do work independently, go and chase the hunt, but they work very closely with humans. Even though they're independent, but they are very closely attached to humans. And all the breeds and all the dogs, they need that. They need that attachment to the human. They need that closeness to the human. And when you off leash a dog, you're detaching yourself from your dog. And when you detach yourself from your dog reads that as a message that my human doesn't want to connect with me. I don't need to connect to my human. And when you don't allow that happen to connect with you, therefore they will develop behaviors that are really unwanted behaviors, like barking and chasing things and not coming and not listening to you and not doing things that you want. That's because you are detached from the dog, and the dog is detached from you. So the leash helps you and your dog to connect with you. Let me see if I can find a picture. In nature, most animals, most parents in general, I would say, they don't let their offsprings or babies or even up to adults, most adult animals. I'm going to show you this. Let me see if I can get it going. Most animals, they don't let their young ones, stay away from them. So here's a picture, for example, of a lion, parent, keeping an eye on the puppy, on the cub, right? This is natural. This is nature. It tells us that this is what you're supposed to do. And as a dog owner, when we have dogs, what happens is we all of a sudden we start off leashing the dog just because we think, okay, that's what the dog wants, right? That's not what the dog wants. So I'm sharing with you some pictures here. Here's an elephant, natural leash, right? Mom or parents, they always keep an eye on the babies, the puppies or whatever, right? They don't just let it go, right? Just because they're dog, it doesn't mean that you have to off leash your dog. You have to keep an eye on that dog. You have to build that connection with your dog. So it has a lot of reasons and benefits to off leash, to off leash your dog. Some dog trainers, they always suggest to start training off leash, which if you have the ways and you have the knowledge, yes, you can do it off leash too, if you have the time and effort and knowledge and all that. If, for example, if I was living in the suburbs, in a farm, and I had a fenced farm and fenced big ranch and all that, I had animals, and I knew what is going on in this ranch, and everything was safe and secure, I would never leash that dog from the puppy, because that puppy has to live and grow in that environment. That's the environment that is being designed in a way to live and work, right? But in an urban setting, you don't want to jeopardize, because that setting is not the setting for a dog to be growing up and develop. It's a different setting. There are so many unknowns, so many dangers. Just think of it this way: in your home itself, there are wires all over the house. Your phone charger is hanging somewhere, right? There are wires. There are things that your puppy can get into easily and digest them. I have doggy daycare, and I have, for example, labs who come to our doggy daycare, and these labs, when they poop, things come out of their stools that the homeowner is missing. They miss, I don't know where our cooking spoon, the cooking spoon, sponges, candles, things that you can never imagine that comes out of these dogs. And most of these items, they come out, hopefully, luckily. But imagine if they stayed there and caused major issues. So there are many, many, many reasons why I suggest not to have your dog off leash. You want to make sure that your puppy or your dog is on leash for a year. And why is it a year? Because it takes a year for a dog to connect with the human. It doesn't happen in a week or few months. It happens in a year. Few months, it's still a roommate. A year, it's a family member. That's the reason also. Irana is saying hi. Tanya is saying hi. Okay, so this is kind of a disgusting topic, but I hope you're comfortable with this. Owning a dog, things like this happens, right? Dogs eat poops, and that's what happens, right? And you have to be on time. So if you have a dog who tends to eat its own poo and things like that, its other poops or whatever. The solution that I have is you have to be taking your dog out to do his business. So the dog your beagle has to be on a leash, taken wherever is designated for doing its business, so you can allow your beagle to do its business and pick it up right away, rather than just letting the beagle go and do whatever it wants and do its business, and then you notice and then you go and pick it up. So just management is the best solution. Could be for now, could be limited, for just time for now, or could be forever. Tanya is asking, I have a service dog and I'm getting a 3-year-old Sheltie pet. Can I train her to the same standard as my service dog? Good question. This is something that I think many dog owners, they don't realize. Most breeds have been bred for certain reason, right? So there is the breed standards, there are breed things that a dog can do, and there is the drive of a dog. The drive is something that the dog has it, and it will have it either it either have it or not have it. The drive. What I mean by that, for instance, I have a beagle, Harvey. He doesn't have the drive for hunting, where Annie has the drive for hunting, and my previous beagle, Jonah, had the drive for hunting. But Harvey, for example, he doesn't have it. A squirrel or anything can move in front of him. He doesn't care. He doesn't go for it. It's not that he's broken. It's not that he's broken beagle. It's just that he doesn't have the drive. What drive means is, for example, for instance, you may be having the drive to paint, where I don't have the drive to paint. I like, for example, I have the drive to make videos, films, instead of painting, right? Now, it doesn't matter how far you push me, I'm not going to be a good painter. Even though you want me to be a painter, I'm not going to be a good painter because my drive is not there. It's not built in myself. It's not built in, right? And for example, you can't be a teacher by force. You have to be a teacher by will, right? You have to have that drive to be a teacher, right? And if you don't have the drive, you can't be a good teacher. I could force you to be a teacher, but you're not going to be a good teacher or good painter, right? If you don't have the drive. Same thing applies to your dog. I don't know if your dog has the drive. You can test it to see if it has that drive to be a service dog. Service dogs are very rare. Service dogs are 1 in a million dogs in a way. It's very hard to find a dog that will do the service type dog activities and tasks. They are selected. They're almost born with it, and then raised and developed to become service dog. You know what I mean? I don't know. For example, you have your service dogs already. How did you get your service dog? I'm not sure how you got it, but service dogs are basically, there are organizations that they focus on that. They raise and breed puppies and dogs who are good, have the opportunity to become a service dog, and when they are born, let's say there are 8 puppies, out of these 8 they will select they will have an idea of, okay, this and maybe 2 or 3 of those out of 8 have the potential to become a service dog. So out of those 8, we have 3 now. Out of these 3, they're going to take it and test it and work with it with the puppy to see if it's going to do the task that they will ask them to do in future, but not in that form. They have different set of tests to test the puppy to see if this puppy is going to be would have the potential of being a service dog. And out of those 3, maybe 1 or none will be qualified. So it's very rare for a dog to become a service dog. It's not that it's impossible, but it's very rare. And you just have to figure that out. You have to do some tests. You have to maybe contact an organization who specializes in those department, and talk to them and go from there. It's always matter of understanding this concept first, and then making the dog to do the task that you want. Good question, though. And you're saying you have a follow-up that Sheltie is 3-legged. Does that change any training? It doesn't change it. Dogs, hardly they focus on that. They have 4 legs, and I've seen dogs who have 2 legs only, and they still do well. It's harder. It's not that it's normal, but it's harder, but they still do well. So it doesn't really affect them. Okay. All right. So we have a opinion feedback about. So I'm going to make note of these suggestion that you have. Okay. So by the way, if you have an idea about a topic, what topics of videos to make about, please let me know in the comments below or in the chat area, actually. And before I continue on the questionnaire, I wanted to also remind you that you can join any of my online courses at the moment and become an educated dog lover. All you have to do is go to sarodogtraining.com. You can go to my online courses. There will be another online course be adding soon to online courses. I'm giving you a heads up. But there are a few online courses that you can choose at the moment and, work on. The reason I'm bringing this up is because many of you have a lot of dogs behavioral issues, and many of those can be solved with simple training, investing time and effort to train your dog to get rid of that behavior, and not only get rid of the behavior, but develop a well-behaved, healthy, and happy dog. So if you have a puppy, I suggest you to start training your puppy using my Puppy Training 101. If you have a dog and you're wondering, how do I make my dog's life better? What are the things that I need to provide for my dog? You just have to provide your dog's daily 5 essential needs, and there's a course that you can join and learn and all about it. If you have a dog who has a leash issue, leash pulling, and needs to be walking properly, doesn't know how to properly walk, join my leash walking and training course. And if you want to learn all of the basics and all the concept of dog training without the use of treats or food or aversive tools or force or domination, and you want to learn everything, all that there is about dogs, and get your dog trained and ready to go and go through all these in general, make sure to register for Basic Obedience and Training course. And if you want to learn, basically learn how to start training your dog join my free online dog training course, Intro to Dog Training Without the Use of Treats. So you have those options, right? So before I continue on the questionnaires, I wanted to mention that you have those options. Now, one more option that is available on, and you can go from my website, sarodogtraining.com, is the virtual training. So virtual training is an option for you to work with me one-on-one virtually from anywhere in the world. If you want to if you have a problem and if you have a dog with behavioral issues and you need quick answers and you want to work with me to solve this problem and it's really driving you crazy, join my virtual dog training and coaching. All the information is on the website. So make sure to check those out. So make sure to check out my website because there's tons of information there as well. So yes, so one of the topics was leash biting. Stop leash biting. Great topic. I will consider that. Thank you. Another topic, a video about senior dogs and how their care is different and training from a puppy. Okay, senior dogs. Okay, yes. That is something that I really need to talk about as well. And Elizabeth Caruso says, "Hi, Saro, from me and my mini poodle Timmy. We love you." Thank you very much. I love you as well. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the community, and as well as your Timmy. Give a big kiss from me. Kiss your Timmy's head. That's what I like to do. I like to kiss doggy's head. All right. So Niall is asking, my beagle often pees on his bed. How do I stop him from doing that? On his bed, not your bed, on his bed. So if there is often happening, there's two things happening. One is could be that it's a medical issue. The other thing is that it's just there's too much water in your beagle's bladder. So if it's a medical condition, I highly suggest you to contact your vet and figure out what's going on. Let them figure out if there's any medical condition or something is happening. I don't know how your beagle is, but if it's a puppy or if it's a senior, then those are common. They will do that. Physically they have issues. If it's not medical condition, could be because your beagle is drinking a lot of water, and the reason they're drinking a lot of water is could be that you're feeding kibble or dry food, and when you feed kibble or dry food, they are forced to drink a lot of water, which fills the bladder, and the bladder has to get empty somehow, and they accidentally release their bladder. They don't know it, but it happens, right? So make sure that if you're feeding kibble or dry food, to change the diet to fresh food. Try it for a week, or not week, but try it for a couple of weeks. Feed fresh food and see if that peeing stops. If it stops, then it's the food. If it doesn't stop, then definitely contact your vet and figure out if it's a medical condition or not. Thank you very much. Niall is saying that love your videos. Thank you. And we have I Wonder As I Wonder is from Maine, saying hello. Thank you. So let's go to the next question. Is from Carl Vasile. I think I'm pronouncing it right. We have a 18-week-old beagle. We would like to know how to start crate training. Every time we put her in a crate, she pees and poos. Also, she's regressing in potty training. Any suggestions? All right. So crate training is something that, there are, dogs, they're either den animals. Your dog could be a den animal or not, right? Either yes or no. They either like to be in a crate or they don't like to be in a crate. They're either one. If they like to be in a crate, then that's fine. You can just let them be in a crate. If they're not, you're going to have to teach them and inform them that it's a good place to go and be. And don't use the crate for when you're punishing your puppy. When you do that way, it registers in your beagle's mind that that's a bad place to be. I only go there when I'm doing something that my parents don't want. And it just relates all the negative memories. So you want to make it positive. The way you make it positive is I suggest you to leave the crate door open in the middle of the living room, for example, where everybody is. Leave it open. See if your beagle puppy is going to go in there on its own. If it goes on its own, great. Let them be. That would be my suggestion. If your beagle is peeing and pooping a lot inside of the crate, it's because you're not taking your puppy out often. You should be taking your puppy out before and after you put them in a crate. So the crate, crate is just where they sleep mainly or rest. They're not there for as being in jail or punished. So make sure that you empty your beagle's bladder and they have done their business before going in. If it's happening too often, again, change the diet to fresh food. You will see the difference. If you try it for 2 weeks, feed fresh food, either cooked diet or home cooked diet or raw diet. Try it for a couple of weeks. See if that issue stops. If it stops, then you're good to go. It's the food, then you have to change the food completely. If it's not, then it's the dry food that is forcing your puppy to have accidents. And if you are having potty training issues, I have a video on my channel, which I'm going to share with you in the chat area. Give me a second. Let me find the video and share it in the chat area. So the title of the video is how to potty train a beagle puppy fast, easy solutions. So the link is in the chat area. Go ahead and watch that video. It will help you. Iraqi1 is saying, how do you think a beagle can be friendly with cats or birds? They are very friendly breeds. They're one of the breeds that they are easily and very friendly. They can easily be friends with any pets or anything, as long as they don't have the prey drive. Mainly, if they see the other pets as a prey, that's a problem. If they see as a roommate, if they see as another family member, they will be ideal. They are ideal beagles, dog breeds for any other pet. Good question. Just gonna we have 15 more minutes. I'm just gonna pick the questions that I want to answer and has to be answered. Again, if you want your questions to be definitely answered, make sure to use the super chat option. I have a note here that Neil Mehta is saying that I skipped the question, but I don't remember you asking any question. But you had a video suggestion, make a video about leash biting, so that I will make a video about that. But I don't see your question, and if you If I see it, I'll read it and answer it. Let me just quickly see if I see. Neil, I don't see your question. Maybe type it in one more time. I don't see it. Yeah, just ask again. I don't see it. So just try one more time. Ask in the chat area. I don't see your question. Okay, so I'm gonna answer the question for Tiff B. My dog, which is a rescue dog, acts like he's scared of my dad. He barks if my dad moves, but he will eat out of his hands cautiously, so he can't be genuinely scared. I think it's just become a habit. Any advice? Yes. So if you have a rescue dog and a behavior like that happens, is just matter of time. A rescue dog comes with package and issues, and one of them is that uh, they don't trust you yet. It takes, again, remember in the beginning of the video I was saying, it takes a year for a dog to bond and connect with a human. That's the reason why I was saying, especially if you have a rescue dog, it takes a year for them to really bond with you. So what I would suggest to do is ask your dad to take your dog for a walk. Ask your dog to play with that dog, play fetch, play games. Yeah, feeding is good too. Feeding the dog, from the hand is good. Do some training. Let me share this with you. I suggest you to ask your dog, and also yourself, just yourself as well, just in general. Try to focus on providing that dog's daily 5 essential needs, especially if you have a rescue dog. A normal dog owner with a normal dog, they should be providing these 5 daily essential needs, anyways, which are exercise, training, socialization, care, and affection. Right? In that order, every day, 24/7, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. You should be focusing on providing all these. Now, that is if you have a normal dog, when you're a normal dog owner, you provide these 100%, right? If you have a rescue dog and you have chosen to rescue a dog, you have to give 110%. You have to do even more. So ask your dog to do these things with your dog. Exercise your rescue dog, take it for a walk, do some training. What training? Watch my training videos on my channel. Get ideas how I train dogs. I don't just train dog like Sorja. I use play and praise to reward the dog and train the dog. When you use play and praise to reward the dog and train the dog, you get even extra bonus points when you do that, right? And provide socialization. So your dog is lacking social skills with your dad, for example. So focus on providing those as well. Provide enough proper care and then proper affection. And as you can see, especially for a rescue dog, affection is the last thing that dog needs. It's not the first thing. Most dog owners, when they rescue dog, they focus on affection and care, right? The last two things that are really the number 4 and 5, right? The first 3 things are the most important part: exercise, training, socialization. So your dad should be focusing on those 3, because the care and affection you are providing anyways automatically, right? And you're saying it's been 7 years. That is very unfortunate and very sad. For 7 years, that dog still hasn't been trusting your dad, and you maybe either, because he's living like that. Because you are not focused on providing these 5 essential needs. You're focused on providing, again, I think, affection and care. That's one of the reasons why you're not getting the results that you want. So focus on those. This is another good question. Should I raise the football up for my three-legged dog? Would this reduce the stress on her remaining front leg? Naturally dogs eat standing up. So I think any way you do it, it's fine. As long as you don't, if you see that your dog is having a hard time, just adjust it. Raising or lowering the football may help, but it's not a big deal. I don't think that affects anything. And this is a question from I'm having a hard time reading and pronouncing this name. I'm not going to even try it, but it's on the screen. Sir, can you please explain 1 day food approximate amount for a 1 year, 8-month-old beagle? If you're feeding dry food, you just have to follow the guideline in the bag that it suggests. But if you're trying to feed fresh food and good food, I would suggest find out your beagle's ideal weight, and what you can do is, let's say if it's 40 pounds or 30 pounds, let's say 30 pounds. Okay, I'm going to give you in pounds. So you have to do your calculation wherever you are, figure it out, the metric system, and go with that. So I'm going to use pounds. So if your beagle is 30 pounds, you're going to multiply it by 10. So 30 times 10 is 300, right? 300 grams of daily food intake. That's the formula. If you have 40-pound dog, 40 times 10, 400 grams of food. If you have 25-pound dog times 10, 250 grams of food. Daily intake. So whatever, find out your dog's ideal weight in pound, times 10 equals grams of food that your dog should be fed on daily basis. Okay? Maybe rewind this a few times to figure it out, and that's the formula. This is a common question and common problem. Madhu is asking, my 11-month-old beagle is very aggressive and keeps chewing and destroying all the plants in our garden. How do I stop this behavior? The reason that is happening is because you're not focused on providing your beagle's daily 5 essential needs, which are exercise, training, socialization, care, and affection. Your beagle is using the plants as a entertainment, as a way to get stimulated. So what you want to do is you want to focus on providing your 11-month-old beagles daily 5 essential, which are exercise, training, socialization, care, and then affection. Proper amount of exercise, playing and walking and allowing your beagle to play with other dogs and all kinds of activities, physical activities. Number 2 is training, mental activities, using play and praise reward system that I use in my system, in my channel. You see me using play and praise to train dogs. That also mentally and physically stimulates your beagle. Provides social skills as well, socialization, social stimulation as well. Let your puppy go out and stimulate itself with seeing and experiencing people, dogs, and all kinds of stuff. Provide proper amount of care and then affection. If you focus on these 5 things, you're going to see that the garden is going to start to thrive. This is an interesting question. and have come across all kinds of labs myself. Do color of Labrador dogs affects its behavior? The gaming spirit is asking. There's chocolate lab, there's black lab, and there's yellow lab, right? I find, even though they're labs, I find the behaviors are a little bit different. Chocolate labs are just very mellow, very, very friendly, very much more, I would say, calmer than all three, right? That's my observation. The yellow labs are more fun, like they want to have fun all the time. They want to go do things, and they want to have fun and play and have a good time. Whereas black labs are more of, I want to do things. They're very serious. Uh, they're very straightforward. Yes and no. They still want to have fun, but they are more serious. They're not as laid back as chocolate labs or as fun as yellow labs. But again, it differentiates in each individual dog itself. But overall, that's my observation about when it comes to all three types of labs. Okay, Neil, I see your question now. I think this is the question that you were asking. What daily schedule should I have with my dog? I mean, how much time should I spend in a day? Well, focus on this. As long as you provide these 5 daily essential needs of your dog, you're good to go. And now how you schedule it is up to you. Everybody has a different lifestyle. But I would say, for example, here's an example, okay? I don't want you to do it exactly the same way, but here's an example. When you get up in the morning, the first thing that you do is take your dog for an exercise rather than share affection. Instead of sharing affection, take it for exercise. Take it for a good walk, half an hour minimum, right? And then you come back, do some training with your dog, play and praise reward system training for 15 minutes or so. And during the walk and during the day, focus on socializing your dog as well. And then you come back from walk and training, and from walk and you do some training. You provide care, which is let's say breakfast, and then you share affection. Okay, that's when you share affection. Okay, so this could repeat 3, 4, 5 times a day, depending on how your schedule is. If there are people, for example, they're working 8, 9 hours a day, they can only provide this formula maybe once or twice. But if they're not working, and they're working from home, they can easily provide this formula 5 times a day. And the more you provide this, repeat this formula, the better it is for your dog. Okay? So focus on somehow providing this exercise, training, socialization, care, and affection for your dog. And again, if you want to learn what in more details, what those are and how to do it and how to get going, just go to my online courses, and there it is on dogs 5 essential needs. Register maybe for that and figure out what to do and how you're supposed to do. There are options. Learn and invest time, money, and effort to learn about dogs. Okay, and thing. All right. Okay, we have a super sticker from Viking Dog Manship. Thank you very much for the donation. That's great. Thank you. Let me see if there you have any question, Viking. Saying hi. Thank you for saying hi. And 2% of dogs' ideal body weight if you feed raw. That's a good formula as well. Let me see. There was one question that I think this would be the last question. And the last question, I want to make sure that it's the right question. Admin, any question stands out that I haven't? All right, so this would be the last question from Akhil. Okay. Our 4-month-old lab terrier mix is it too early to have her sleep outside of her crate? She's on a decent potty schedule and knows to go on the pad if she needs to go. Overall, I suggest you to have your, crate training is the best thing. I highly suggest you to do it. It doesn't matter what age, you just let them go in the crate. Let them be in the crate. I do that with Annie, my own puppy. She's not puppy anymore. She's a year old now. She just turned a year old. We just celebrated her 1-year-old birthday party. It's on my Instagram page if you want to see the pictures. So she sleeps in the crate all night, and throughout the day she sleeps in there too. It's just good idea to keep that going, no matter what age they are. You want to keep that going because it's very beneficial for them, and it's very helpful for you. If you need a break or you need to do something, if you need to have your dog or a beagle or whatever it is, terrier, to have a little break so you can do things, it's a good idea to keep that going. Keep your puppy or dog in the crate. So focus on that. It don't matter what age they are. You want to make sure that they enjoy and stay in the crate for forever, in a way. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed this live show. And remember to subscribe, like, and share this video. And thank you for your donation on super sticker from Viking Dogmanship. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And make sure, again, give me some feedback, what video topics you like me to make videos about, and comment below in the comments area. If you have any additional questions that I didn't get to answer, feel free to ask your questions in the comments area in any of my videos or even in this video, and I will get the answers to you. And I will see you next time. And until next time, have fun with your dog.